Welcome to Kidmin Backstage, the place where we talk about kids ministry and take a peek behind the scenes. We try to share a little bit of what we've learned that works for us and some of our failures so you can avoid them. We release a new episode every Friday, and this is your Backstage Pass to see the magic or the disaster that happens behind the scenes of our kids ministry. I'm your host, Gabe Baker, and today I am joined by Brother Aaron. How's it going?
Fantastic. You could probably hear the rain
on
the metal roof.
I'm not sure if it'll come through on the mics, but it is pouring outside.
Good old Washington weather.
Yeah. Well, you got your Huel there, which and I got my latte. So
non-fat
it's not at all. So this fits into our title really well.
It really does.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about daily choices.
Daily choices.
Yes.
Oh, man. So when this airs, I think we're sometime in month number 2. And, Brother Cowan just recently preached about Failure Friday, which is, I think is statistically the second Friday. Is that what he said? The second Friday of January or something?
Yep.
It's known as Failure
10
Friday.
days in at times.
That's so crazy. But anyway, so yeah, daily choices. Here we go. Now, I don't do this daily, but you got your healthy Huel drink, and I got my my vanilla latte, and it's even worse because I do it with the half and half in it. So
of course.
Yeah. You can see it right here.
That's right where it goes.
That's right where it goes.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Right to the necks.
Daily choices. So this kind of came from a conversation that you and I had, and we're going to up front say that we're kind of I'm going to say riffing off instead of ripping off.
I like that.
We're going to riff off of one of John Maxwell's books called Today Matters. It's a very good book. I haven't read it. It's been a while. I've read it more than once, but it's been a while, and I think you're reading it.
I'm in the middle of it.
You're in the middle of it, and so we were talking about it, and I think that so I wrote in here that book reminds us about the simple but uncomfortable truth: you don't control tomorrow, you only control today.
Yeah.
And where my premise is that it's so much more fun to talk about tomorrow and next year and how, man, it's going to be so great. Isn't it going to be awesome?
This is our year.
Yeah, it's going to be
2020 vision.
It's going to be so good. And then you get there, and here's what I do is I write down on my calendar, I'm a calendar guy, and so I write down on my calendar, and 6 weeks from now, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I need to do these tasks. And I get there, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing that.
That was a terrible idea.
What was I thinking? So, yes, the daily choices. So that's what we're kind of talking about today is those, the success that we see in leadership and ministry and in Sunday schools. It's not in the big moments. It's not in like Summit Kingdom Kids Conference.
Yeah.
It's in the compounding
Absolutely.
daily decisions,
Yeah, it's very true. And it's like that with everything. Anything that's worth doing right or worth doing is worth doing right. And it's the daily things that add up and compound, like you said. It's not just the big moments. Like you think of a health thing. It's not just the big grand moments. It's the everyday going to the gym or whatever that looks like for you and eating healthy every day. And that's boring, and that's the stuff that nobody sees,
Yeah.
And then you switch that to relationship with God. It's not the highlights. It's not the conferences you go to. It's not forward.
Yeah, it's not the tongues and interpretation that happened, on Sunday night or whatever.
Right. It's the Monday morning when you wake up and you're dry.
Yeah.
And you're reading the Bible and you don't feel nothing. And you're praying and you don't feel nothing, but that's when it compounds. You do it every day.
Yeah, every day. Brother Miles, a few weeks ago, he was on the podcast, on the pod, as Anish and Shaylee would say. But he brought up something I thought was so good. He talked about, I think he actually talked about a message from way back in the day, a West Coast conference, but he was saying how Peter and John were on their way to church when the layman was healed.
On the way to pray.
Huh?
On the way to pray.
Is that the name of the title? Okay.
Yeah.
And so I don't know really what the message is about or anything, but what he and I talked about a little bit is if you just kind of think about that practically, like in our terms, right? What would make more sense is right after a Sunday night blowout service, he came out the front doors and there was the lame man sitting on the sidewalk, and man, you prayed for him and he got healed.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like what you just said, Monday morning you're dry.
Mm-hmm.
On the way to church, on the way to prayer meeting.
Yeah.
And the power was, it was God, but they were prayed up. So yeah, the daily choices, it matters. It's not about the high or the flash in the pan, so to speak,
Well, an example of that, flip that on its ear. When Jesus and the disciples, I'm not going to mention all three because I'll probably mess one up, but they were on the Mount of Transfiguration and they were coming down, and on the way down from that moment, like powerful moment with Jesus, they met a man that was possessed and they tried to cast the devils out of him and they couldn't. The disciples could not. After that moment, they couldn't. And Jesus said these things only come by prayer and fasting. So even though they were on that mountain, they still hadn't had that, from what it seems, hadn't maybe had that consistent thing. Yeah. And it was for an example for us, but it matters.
Yeah, it matters. What is that scripture? It's in Proverbs. I want to say 29:18. I'm not looking it up, so I don't know. But people always quote the first half of it, but where there is no vision, the people perish. Yeah. You familiar with that verse? So I think it's in Proverbs. I just can't remember where it's found. I want to say 29:18, but and then it follows up, and I don't know, maybe I'm taking this way out of context. I probably should look into this deeper because I've said this before and I still haven't looked into it. But the next part of it says, "But happy is he that keepeth the law."
Yeah.
And
that's the consistency.
Yeah, and that in my mind, and again, I don't blast me if I'm taking this way out of context, but let me have some liberty here. I think happy is he that keepeth the law is like it's discipline. And so where there's no vision, the people perish. And you can have lofty goals and dreams and visions and everything, but you have to do something about it, or it's just a dream. Exactly. A goal without a deadline is just a dream. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have that structure in place, and you have to do something daily. Yeah. So that gets us into today's kind of topic. Today, quote, is where leadership is actually lived. Yeah. So I put this note: big vision without daily discipline creates frustration. Yeah. And it's so easy. It's easy to, and I'm saying this and I laugh because I'm guilty of this. It's so easy to write down lists, and this goes back to New Year's resolutions and stuff, but it's easy to write down stuff and get excited, right? I mean, it's like,
get motivated.
And you spend an hour or a couple hours, whatever, a session, of like, okay, we are nailing this. And it feels accomplished. Now, I think that it is valuable. I'm not blasting it. It is valuable. But we can feel like, whew, got that done.
Just set it to the side.
But then it's that Monday morning dry. Yeah. That's where it makes the difference, is where you get up and like, okay, I got to do something about this now. Yeah.
It's true. And that reminds me of a conversation. I think I might have mentioned this on here before. So forgive me if I have, but was having a conversation with a pastor several months ago when I was wanting to start my business, and he knows me really, really well. Yeah. He knows me really, really, really well. He's like, you always get the cart in front of the horse. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And so we were talking about, he said, business. He's like, I'm not trying to scare you off, but you see, we're talking about different business conferences. I'm like, I want to go here and do this and meet this person and do this and do that. And I was super motivated. Like like you said, I had all these goals wrote down. I was like, babe, look what we can make, Yeah. We can hire people and, Mm-hmm. And he calmed me way down. Didn't kill the dream, but he calmed me way down, talked me off the ledge. And he said, look, most of those people you see that are successful, that have true success, what you don't see are the months and months and years of blood and sweat and toil every day and taxes and work and losing contracts and trying to figure out how you're going to get all the toil. And he said the word anguish. He's like,
anguish.
The anguish
Oh, that's good, man.
that people go through. So it's easy to be from here and see that goal here. But it's that middle part that really determines if you're going to make it or break it. And it's not always easy at all.
It's so good because I'm, when we, back when this building was unfinished and we didn't use the upstairs only for Sunday school, we didn't use it for other things like we do now. What I would do often is, we would lock it, and I remember there was a piece of plywood, we would lock that. And then we would do like this big theme build, and then it was like poof, boom, everybody could walk in. It was there. And I kind of like that. I still like that, like the idea of like, whoa, what happened?
Where'd this come from?
And so, but that is a testament, I guess, or speaks to how, like, I think, and I kind of, same way like you, is like, I want it, like, if I'm going to remodel the garage, I want it to be poof, boom.
Right, I want it right now. Like, I can see the vision. Why can't I have it right now?
Yeah. And so what is so hard, and this is where Pastor, it's incredible. It's really incredible how he does it. He does, even if it's a small piece, and he's every single day. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, this is a really nice house, or whatever, whatever it is. Yep. And he's working on it steadily, and it's like, sometimes it just seems like, what was today a waste? I mean, nothing got done hardly at all.
Well, it's like the house across the street. I mean, I've cleaned it a couple times for him already in different transitions of remodel, but I mean, I've drove by many times to where, now could have had somebody with him, but he's up there on a, whatever those machines are called. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, a lift or something?
No, just like digging in the dirt.
Oh,
and
an excavator.
And pushing dirt around all by himself, pouring down rain on the phone, doing it, trying to do it with one hand
while
and
he's
elbow.
working.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's coming along, and it's beautiful. It did a great job. So that's very true.
Yeah, and that's where it's so hard to, and I guess this is probably with everybody really, and it's probably not necessarily easy for him either. He just does it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I necessarily have this in my notes, but one of the things that you can do is you can try to set yourself up for success in knowing, like, okay, there's these small tasks, that I need to do. Like if that's just an example. If you decide, like, I want to run every morning before work or whatever, I want to go for a run. Well, one key is to put your running clothes and your running shoes, get them ready before you go to bed, and have them right there. So when the alarm goes off, it's like, there's no arguing with yourself. It's right there. It's like, okay, let's just do this. Yeah. And so you can set yourself up, that helps. But yeah, I think that understanding, that you don't change your life in a moment. It's not just the conference, like you said. Yeah. It's not just the Sunday night service. Those are all highs that we need. We need to have all those peaks, and those help us. And we, I've heard it preached both ways, but, living from peak to peak. Yeah. And that's all fine, or maybe it's not, whatever. I've heard it preached both ways, but what counts is in between. Yeah. Like what you just said.
Absolutely.
Dreams live in the future, and discipline lives today. Yeah. And so I think, like, I wrote this note a while back. I wrote a note, and I talked about it in a meeting that I had. And I said, basically, I can't remember exactly the quote. It wasn't a quote, but the exact thing I wrote. But I said, find the tasks that will produce the results you want, or the disciplines that will produce the results you want, and then create those as habits. Do those. Do those tasks. Yeah. And so, okay, then the note here I have is self-leadership precedes team leadership. Yeah. So if you can't lead your own habits, you're going to struggle to lead other people to sustainability.
Absolutely.
And that's where, like, Pastor, he has that down. He's leading himself. He's doing those habits, so he has all the authority to. I mean, he has authority because he's pastor, but he has all the authority to point at. You know, he has the history that he can point at, and you know, to do those daily tasks.
Definitely.
Okay, so consistency beats intensity every time. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen that? Like where I've seen this, I've seen this where people will they'll start something and get all gung ho, and Lord forgive me, but sometimes, and this sounds so bad, and it sounds like I'm jaded, but sometimes I just know. Yeah. I just know when that person starts. I'm just like, I don't invest. I don't have any confidence in it, because sure enough, 2 weeks later, it's flat. Nothing's
You ask them about him. Well, this happened.
Yeah.
And this happened. Yeah. Blame everyone else.
Yes. You know, and that's funny that you say that too, because I have been on the other side of that where I'm trying to make something go, and I run into just all kinds of obstacles. Yeah. And I've thought of that right there, what you just said. Yeah. I've thought of that, and like, I don't want to be that guy. And so that's like the stick, you know, the carrot and the stick. That's the stick for me. It's like, I don't want to be that guy, so I'm not going to complain and tell people like where I feel like it legit, you know, this happened. Here's an example this morning. Now, I typically get here at 8 o'clock or a little before. We have practice at 8:30, so I almost always get here at 8 or a little before. And so this morning, I came out to start my car before I make my coffee, and my car wouldn't start. Uh-oh. And so I think I have been late to Sunday school once. And so in all the years that I've done it. And so I was just like, oh, man. And that would be a legitimate thing, right? Sure. You know? And so I'm in my suit. It's pouring down rain. Pop the hood. And anyway, it was a loose connection, I guess. And so I got it. I did get it started. And I got here at 8:01. So still made it. But that's one of those things where I guess some of this comes to passion and drive too, which is not really what we're talking about. But if you are like, you know, going back like the business, the anguish thing that you said, if it's like, okay, this is the path that we're going to take to get, and this is the path I'm going to go to be a great Sunday school leader, or a great, you know, I'm going to lead this ministry, or be a preacher, whatever it might be. Sure. Then, and you know, maybe it's proven. You've looked at, you know, somebody like pastor or somebody, you know, these are the steps you have to take. You know, like, okay, I want financial independence. This is the steps I have to take. This is what I have to do, and it's proven, and you know it's right. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Sure. And so now when your car breaks down, you still pursue the steps. When you get sick, you still pursue the steps. Absolutely. And so that's, man, that makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. And stick with that.
And, you know, and the thing is God sees that, you know, especially if everything you do, you know, the Bible talks about whatsoever that hand finds to do it with might. So if you're doing it as to the Lord, God's going to bless that. Oh yeah. You're just not going to feel like he's blessing it right then. Yeah. But he will. You know, and I want to backtrack just a touch on something you said just a second ago. Kobe Bryant said something one time. I remember reading a quote of his out of a book I was reading. And he was, if you know anything about basketball, which I don't know much, but I know Kobe Bryant was renowned for his discipline. Mm-hmm. The dude was first one there, last to leave. He would outwork anybody. If some young guy came in and tried to get there earlier than him, the next day, Kobe's going to be there earlier. Yeah. He would make his teammates so mad because like old vets would come in and he would push him and push him and push him and push him. He even told Shaq one time, he said, man, if you weren't so lazy, I'd have another ring. And Shaq's like 10 years his senior. You know? Yeah. But he made a statement that said, and this, man, I have such trouble with this. He said, tell none till it's done. And his thing was, and I struggle with this because I will get excited about something. Yeah. Like God just blessed me with something, revealed something, or I'm going to do this. And I would just go tell the world. Yeah. And I would want everybody to know. I would shout it from the mountaintops. And then same thing, like you said, something would happen and it wouldn't fall through and I've got egg on my face. Somebody would come ask about it. It's like, yeah, well. And so I've learned in my maturity and my growth that if you feel like you're going to do something either for God or business, whatever it is, just do it. And just let people see the results. Let them come to you and ask, hey, what's going on? I saw this, or I noticed this, or what's going on here? And then you could tell them.
Wow.
Because you're excited, right? You're excited in the moment. You're passionate. You're motivated. And you just want to tell everybody and get them on board with you. But that's not smart.
Wow. Tell none until it's done. That's good. Yeah. I like that. Man. Mm-hmm. You know, another story about Kobe Bryant. I mentioned this. I did a video for a church ministry team.
Sorry.
Huh?
I said R.I.P. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I read this. I can't remember. I had the details in the video, but I read this. I think it was. It might have been his wife. I can't remember, but there's a long list of how he's played through injuries.
Oh yeah.
Like major injuries
stuff
and somebody, I think it was his wife, asked him one time, you know, you're getting paid and there's all these other players doing, you know, fine, and you could sit this one out and you have a reason. It's not an excuse. You have a reason.
Sure.
You let your, you know, finger heal or whatever it was, you know. And why do you do that? And he said because some kid might have saved up all year and came, because he said he remembered going to the games with his dad and sitting up in the nosebleeds. And he said, some kid might have saved up all year to come see me play, and I have to be out there. And so that was like, you know, the conversation was a dedication to his fans, but I think it goes back to that discipline and that consistency of just like, day in, day out, and then he's on the court, and that's the spotlight moment. But there's a huge, you know, like the iceberg, right? There's a huge, massive foundation underneath that you don't see.
Well, for more than anything, not more than anything else, but on top of that too, from that story, in any kind of leadership that you're in, somebody's always counting on you.
Yes,
someone's always watching. I remember my daughter when she was younger, and you know, Shaylee and Anisha were much younger, but I walked by her room and she was little. She was like, you know, 7, 8, 9, something like that. She's in there, had choir music blaring, and she's like directing. Maybe she wasn't that young. I guess it wasn't that long ago, but she's in there directing the choir and doing all these moves and dancing around. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm like Shaylee and Anisha when they sing. And so I definitely had to go tell them, but somebody's always watching. Somebody's watching, and they're counting on you.
Yeah, and you never know. You never know the impact you're making.
You really don't.
Yeah, it's well, that segues into something I wanted to mention, and I don't know if you've gotten to this part in the book yet, and I may butcher it because it's been a while since I read it, but in that book, Today Matters by John Maxwell, he mentions something about, I'll just say the premise because I don't remember exactly, but he says something like, I could come spend the day with you.
Yes. That's early on in the book.
Okay, yeah. He says, I could come spend the day with you and know if you're going to be successful
Absolutely. Or not. Within, like, very short time.
Yeah, and he says that when I tell people that, they sometimes get offended or whatever, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because it sounds arrogant. But he's basically talking about because your today matters.
Absolutely.
Isn't that incredible to think about? It's so crazy to think that, and I guess on one side it's like, oh man, you know, like that means I got to do push-ups right now, you know.
For real.
It's like, but on the other side of it, if you can think of it this way, this is a motivating factor for me, is if you think of it like that big lofty goal that you have, today actually can make a difference in that goal. And just don't expect that it's going to be tomorrow, you know, but just know that today when I do this little tiny task, it's one more step towards that goal. And that can be a motivator.
Absolutely. You know? Well, it brings you to the quote I sent you the other day about this book. I came across it and it said, what I do in the future depends on what I already am, and what I am is a result of previous years of discipline.
Yes. Yeah.
There it is.
Well, you know, isn't that the book that he starts out with a poem, or I don't know if it's a poem, but it's like it's a pretty long, it's like a whole page just for today.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's so cool. He's like, just for today, I will, eat healthy, just for today. I'm going to exercise.
And tomorrow, it's just for today.
Yeah. And
so good.
Yeah, if you just think about, like, what's that song? Minute by minute, day by day.
Yeah.
Just for today. If we can approach it like that, just for today, I'm gonna do this.
So good.
Okay, we are kind of running out of time, but there's a couple of things I want to mention. Is I had to teach a session on burnout last year, and it's not a favorite subject of mine because I'm probably the drill sergeant when it comes to that because I don't believe in burnout. But I know it's real. I know it's a real thing. But anyway, it was interesting. I had to do a lot of studying, more than I maybe would typically, just because it's not my expertise. Not that I'm really an expert at anything. But anyway, so I wrote this down. Burnout is often a discipline problem, not a calling problem.
Absolutely.
So sometimes we're in ministry and we are, I know people might have different feelings about the nomenclature called. Okay, so I don't want to get hung up on that. People are definitely called to preach, and I don't know that people are called to do Sunday school or called to do whatever ministry. But let's just call it a calling. But if you are, or even if it's like, your pastor has mandated you to do something or directed you, doing ministry and doing Sunday school, and then you get burned out. I think that most often this is the case right here, is 100%. That it's a discipline problem, not like, you know what, I wanted to be in Sunday school, I really enjoyed it, but I just don't think that's actually for me. I'm getting too burned out on it. I think that, I'm not saying you can't quit something once you have done a ministry. I'm not saying that at all. But I do think that sometimes when we want to blame something on quote unquote burnout, and like, I did that, but I just got burned out on it. I think that sometimes it's just the discipline.
Well, the Bible talks about that, and it is specific to ministry, I think. And again, like you said earlier, I don't know, I haven't fleshed that out, so I can't say specifically that it was about ministry, but the way it sounds like it's very much ministry. It says the calling of God is without repentance. So we've heard that once you're called, you can do what you want to do, but you're out. I mean, we, for preachers, I ran from the call for years and years and finally said, okay, God, I'm going to do it. And they're powerful evangelists. And so if we want to call it a calling, if God has called you and you have the opportunity to be used in Sunday school and children's ministry, the calling's not going to go away. It's the discipline. It's just not wanting to be there. It's your flesh ruling you rather than being led by the Spirit.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, I think that, and the other thing is part of this daily discipline too is like preparation. We talk about that all the time with Sunday school, your lessons, or if you're preaching, your messages and all that, youth nights, those kind of things. When you have the daily discipline of preparing, the burnout is less likely, because a lot of times, like this is a level of burnout that I have experienced, is when I get to the day of that this activity is supposed to happen, and there's a bunch of steps that I didn't take that I should have taken. So now it's this huge weight on my shoulders. That can lead to at least frustration. I don't know about burnout, but it can be like, oh my goodness, I hate this every time. But it's because
you didn't do
the steps, all month long. And so now you got to scramble. It's like finals or something, now you got to scramble to get it done. And so, the other thing I wrote is leadership infrastructure is invisible, but it's decisive. So, last week I did a podcast with Kyle, and we were talking about get it together, but we were talking about being organized and or how organization helps. And I think that this kind of falls into that, is leaders, great successful leaders, and people that do quote unquote big things and accomplish a lot. It's built on all these small things behind the scenes. These tiny little things that, I mean, like if we go back to the Kobe Bryant example, there's things like, even breaking it down further than he was the first one in the gym and last one to leave, even breaking it down further is like free throws.
He would do so many a day.
Yeah, just
every
doing
time.
free throws and
Yeah.
or okay, going over to the side. I don't know what you call it, the side of the key, and shooting those shots. And,
absolutely.
Backboard shots, whatever.
Layups,
dunks, whatever. Just
yeah.
these things in and out, practice over and over and over, and dribbling, ball handling.
Well, I'll tell you something so Steph Curry, I remember somebody sent me a video of him. He's kind of known for just being a goofball and kind of goofing around, but he's a phenomenal shooter. And he was bouncing around. He was at home, so it was the court he's used to, and he's bouncing around, and all of a sudden he's like, and bounce it again, and like tapped on the floor and like called somebody over, and there was something wrong on the floor. The board was off just enough to where he felt the difference. When
he
the ball
felt the
hit
difference.
It.
That's how experienced he was.
Yeah, and he did the same thing with. He was away, and he was shooting pre-game, and he kept missing a bunch. He's like, "What is going on?" He's like, "Something's not right." And he's like, "I'm not trying to say I'm something, but something's not right."
Yeah.
The maintenance guy came over and measured it, and it was low. It was low by like an inch or two.
Oh my goodness!
And it was just enough to throw him off. They put it where it's supposed to be, and he just.
Wow!
You can't get that just by like winging it.
No, that's
consistency.
Yeah, that's consistency. Definitely daily discipline. Well, we kind of stomped all over this last few notes, but daily choices shape long-term impact.
Yeah.
Who you become tomorrow is practiced by what you do today, or is decided by what you practice today, I guess. So, yeah, I think that, and I put in there, growth is never accidental.
Right.
I think that these daily disciplines and daily things that you do, part of what can make them hard is there's no audience.
Yeah.
But I think, like, for myself, going back to like the example with pastor, we're in a house or whatever, is it's not even about the audience thing. It's sometimes it just feels like it, and air quotes, feels like it doesn't make a difference.
Absolutely.
It feels like this doesn't really matter. When I do push-ups or whatever, when I do push-ups today, it's really not making a difference.
I could skip today.
Yeah.
It makes it that much harder to skip tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Daily choices. Well, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.